Hola, muy buenos a todos, bienvenidos. Bueno, ya vemos lo que pone en pantalla. Estás jugando a The Stanley Parable. Bueno, es un juego un tanto peculiar. Yo ya lo jugué hace un tiempecillo y ya tengo un vídeo del juego en el canal, pero es de la demo, que realmente no tiene nada que ver con el juego. Bueno, sí que tiene que ver, pero que no es algo que salga luego en el juego. El trozo de la demo. Y bueno, como digo, es un juego peculiar y aunque yo ya lo he jugado, me apetecía aspirar a una partidita de este juego y tener una muestra de él en el canal. Más que otra cosa, voy a empezar a jugar a The Beginner's Guide, que es, bueno, es un juego del mismo creador, que, bueno, yo creo que tendrá ciertos parecidos a este, ¿no? Y bueno, pues, no sé, por recordar un poco este juego antes de empezar a jugar el otro, que son juegos, por llamarlo de una forma, son más una experiencia de juego que otra cosa, ¿no? Más que un juego en sí. Es un juego que juega el juego con nosotros, más que nosotros con el juego, y que está sobre todo basado en la narración. El narrador es el verdadero protagonista de este juego, como nos va a ir liando un poco y jugando él con nosotros, ¿no? Y bueno, yo creo que si empezamos a jugar y lo veis y ya está. Es un juego súper corto, que más que intentar pasarte el juego, lo que tienes que hacer es rejugarlo una y otra vez para ver las distintas variantes que tiene, que puede ofrecerte el juego. Cada partida es totalmente distinta, ¿no? Es una cosa un poco extraña, pero bueno, es una cosa curiosa que merece la pena probar, ¿vale? Está claro que tampoco es que sea una maravilla esto, pero sí que es un juego muy curioso. Y bueno, vale, vamos a darle a comenzar partida y así pues yo creo que lo entenderéis enseguida a lo que me refiero.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Bueno, lo más importante
And
es
then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
bueno, como digo, lo más importante es escuchar al narrador. Es una lástima que no esté el doblaje en castellano. Tenemos que estar leyendo. Pero bueno, ahora vamos a jugar y ya está.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
De su izquierda. Vale, vamos a hacerle caso al narrador, ¿vale? En esta primera partida, a todo lo que nos diga.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
control es un poquillo raro. Bueno, es un juego en primera persona, ¿no? Pero que...
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
hacia arriba.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Vale, el número lo tenemos que haber encontrado, pero como yo ya he jugado el juego, por eso digo que a veces como el narrador ya sabe que yo he jugado el juego y ya sé dónde está el número, que por cierto no me acuerdo dónde estaba escondido por algún lado. No sé. Pues pero me lo ha dicho ya directamente. Por eso digo que cada partida es distinta, ¿no? Porque el narrador se va como acordando de lo que hemos hecho antes, ¿no? Y a veces pues va jugando con nosotros. Bueno, no sé, el campo de visión no me gusta, ¿ves? Voy a tocarlo. Se maneja un poco raro.
Descending deeper into...
A ver, espera, un momentico. Opciones, vídeo, campo de visión. Así creo que lo voy a ver más raro aún. Vale, lo dejo como estaba ahora. Vale.
The building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Bueno, estos son pantallas. Y pantallas y más pantallas.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Hay alguna pantalla fundida, ¿no? Por ahí se ve alguna en negro. Me han cambiado todas. ¿Cuál era yo? ¿El 427 o algo así? Ahí no me da tiempo a verla. Aquí es donde, por aquí es donde, por donde he venido. 427, esa de ahí. La que está justo en el medio. Es justo donde hemos empezado.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Pues, si os dais cuenta, es justo lo que estamos haciendo. Estamos haciendo todo lo que nos está diciendo él, ¿no?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Mantelaría los controles de una vez por todas. Vale, aquí ya no me acuerdo qué había que hacer. Bueno, habrá que ir a la puerta aquella.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Vale, off. ¿Os ha quedado todo a oscuras?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Bueno, pues ya está, ya nos hemos pasado el juego. Bueno, ya os digo que lo importante no era pasarse el juego, sino rejugarlo. Y ya veis lo cortito que es la primera vez que completas el juego. Vale, pero volvemos a nuestra habitación. La 427. Y ahora es cuando el narrador pues va a empezar a jugar con nosotros. Y nosotros, bueno, podemos intentar jugar un poco también con él, haciéndole caso o no.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Muy bien, a ver. ¿Cuánto lo hacemos todo igual?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vale, ¿le hacemos caso o no? Aquí empieza un poco la gracia del juego. Vamos a hacerle caso. Venga, a ver. Ahora, de momento. Esto tiene tantísimas variantes que bueno, queda igual. Puedes hacer caso ahora, luego no, y lo te irá cambiando.
Not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Vale, vamos a seguir haciéndole
Coming
caso.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Esta puerta antes no se abría, ¿ves? Pues ahora no le vamos a hacer caso, ahora no vamos por aquí. A ver qué hay. Es un... Sí. Ahora podemos ir y poner el número antes de que nos lo diga él.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could
Era
it
2-8,
mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody.
2-8.
He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Bueno, estamos haciendo muy parecido, pero lo podríamos haber hecho ya muy distinto, ¿vale? Si la primera puerta nos hubiéramos ido hacia otro lado, por ejemplo. Y luego te va cambiando el edificio, hay puertas que están cerradas, luego están abiertas. No sé, tiene cientos de variantes. Lo importante es...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Lo importante es, la gracia es oír al narrador, ¿no? Cómo va, según lo que vayamos haciendo, cómo va cambiando lo que dice y todo eso.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Vale, bueno, pues ahora volvemos a empezar. Bueno, ahora no le voy a hacer caso a nada, o todo lo que pueda evitar.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Todo cerrado, ¿no?
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Primera puerta abierta a su izquierda. O sea, esta. No, vámonos para acá.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Qué habitación más oscura.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Bueno, no podemos hacer otra cosa, estamos aquí encerrados.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Voy a presionarla otra vez. No me deja. Vale, pues
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
¿La tele? ¿Dónde está la tele?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
No me deja pasar.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls, and down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby, and he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Vale, pues no la presiono. Así no me deja hacer nada. No sé si espero un rato a algo. Bueno, pues lo pulso, ala.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
¿Lo pulso o no lo pulso? Ah, puedo agacharme, no lo sabía.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Por favor, muera.
And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Vale, y empezamos otra vez. Y ahora pues puedes tomar otra opción y yo qué sé. Entonces, sin parar, el juego este.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Vuelta de la izquierda, vale, vámonos otra vez por la derecha.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. What a beautiful, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ah, sí, le vamos a hacer caso, venga, da para acá.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Vale, vámonos por aquí. Ahora.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Ah, ya no lo sabe ni él. Para dónde... Bueno, o eso nos hace creer.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Otra vez. Y bueno, cuando ya empieza a marcarnos en el suelo rayas de por dónde tenemos que echar, ya es que...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vale, están cerradas.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
No tenemos la historia. Bueno, tenemos un montón de puertas. Vámonos por esta. Venga, va. No dice nada. Venga, va para acá.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Ahora, otra vez.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ahora no hay puertas.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Bueno, esto no lo han cambiado. Parece que estoy dando vuelta en...
Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Otra vez, empezamos. Ya empieza con la raya, esto es muy
All
bueno
right,
también.
I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Bueno, pero si veis, ya nos cambia la ruta, ¿eh? No es la típica. Que podíamos haber seguido por allí, no haber seguido la línea, ¿eh?
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
¿Es el hecho?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Vale, pues el hecho.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Well, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Vale, otra vez, reiniciamos. Bueno, gente, lo voy a dejar aquí para una pequeña muestra para que veáis cómo es el juego. Y esto sigue rayando. Y vamos llegando a zonas que antes no podíamos llegar y cosas así. Y bueno, hay sitios muy locos dentro de estos edificios.
Stanley, I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Bueno, como veis, él cada vez se va rayando, va jugando con nosotros.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Bueno, como veis, pasillos imposibles.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Bueno, gente.
A choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Bueno, gente, lo dicho, lo dejo aquí, que si no, esto todo el rato así, no acaba casi nunca esto. Y nada, como decía, un juego un poquito especial, original, que se sale mucho de lo normal, de lo que estamos acostumbrados a jugar. Una experiencia más que otra cosa distinta, que es interesante y divertida y ya está. Y bueno, pues lo dejo aquí y nos vemos el próximo día en otro vídeo. Venga, hasta otra.